Illinois fiscal dysfunction claims another victim. Part of the Baby Fold in Normal is closing down. According to its website, the residential treatment center services are closing because of the state's 2-year budget impasse. The same center was downsized back in 2015 from 28 to just 14 beds. The organization will discontinue the program on June 30th. Baby Fold CEO Diane Schultz said in a statement, quote, "Even after downsizing the program, the agency has been forced to subsidize $1.6 million over the last 2 years to compensate for the lack of appropriate funding. These are very painful decisions." Well, a domestic violence shelter in central Illinois could soon get some relief. A bill is headed to the House floor that would give shelters more than $18 million in funding for the next fiscal year. Right now, domestic violence shelters are in dire need of funding. They were left out of the last stopgap budget and haven't received state funds in nearly a year. A committee unanimously passed the bill Thursday. The Center for Prevention of Abuse in Peoria says it's happy to see lawmakers' support.
This particular bill would help us recover about $400,000 of that. It would help fund our 2 emergency shelters, which provide crisis intervention for people that come to us, women, men, and children looking to live free from violence and abuse.
The bill is expected to reach the House floor in the next few days. Well, one of America's largest banks says bonds owned by Illinois could be a good deal for investors. Citi Research, a division of Citigroup, says the securities are an opportunity for, quote, bold investors. The paper details how state law guarantees payment to Illinois bonds. The state pays nearly double the interest rate other municipalities pay for their debt service. The state treasurer says with Illinois' mounting monetary problems, this advice may not be the best.
Problem is, it's not good for the state of Illinois to issue debt when we're in junk bond status or near here, because we will pay significantly more in interest. Money will be going to bondholders that should be going to repair our roads and our bridges and our schools.
Credit ratings agencies Moody's and S&P have warned that they would further downgrade Illinois' credit rating if the budget mess continues into year 3. Well, state police arrest a wanted man as a sexual assault investigation continues. 47-year-old Michael Lannery is accused of having sexual contact with a minor. Lannery was taken into custody yesterday after an order of protection hearing held at the Fulton County Courthouse in Lewiston. He's at the Fulton County Jail and being held on $75,000 bond. The investigation is being handled by ISP's Macomb Violent Crimes Unit. Law enforcement in McLean County need your help in identifying a person suspected of turning off the water pump for an entire village. This is security footage from the McLean County Sheriff's Office, which shows the person entering the Saybrook Water Maintenance Building shortly before midnight. Now, the same time as the incident. If you know this person or have any information, contact the Sheriff's Office. Memorial Day is the official start of summer and lots of people will travel to celebrate. Some will kick off the season with a barbecue and hitting the pool. Meanwhile, local first responders offer tips to ensure your family has a fun and safe weekend.
We will see more troopers on the roadway. We're going to have special patrols as far as roadside safety checks.
An extra set of eyes on the roadways this Memorial Day weekend as 1.8 million people across the state are expected to drive to their destination.
Our goal is to get through the weekend with 0 fatalities. That is the goal in mind.
In 2016, there were 16 deaths on Illinois roadways over the holiday weekend. Illinois State Police offers this advice to make sure you arrive to your destination safely. Be well rested and alert, wear your seatbelt, and follow the speed limit. If your celebrations involve drinking, set your plans to get home now.
Don't get behind the wheel of a vehicle if you've been drinking. Don't take the chance.
And if your plans involve firing up the grill for a barbecue, make sure you do so safely, out in the open and away from your house or porch. For many people, this is the first time they'll dust off the grill for the season.
Occasionally we have some people that can't get their old charcoal started. They put a little gasoline on it, and then it creates a problem.
The same goes for gas grills. Make sure you don't have any leaks that could cause an explosion. Roughly 8,800 grill fires happen every year, sending nearly 17,000 people to the hospital, many of them children.
They're at that right height that they're there. They want to grab a hold of the grill and peek into it, see what's going on, and they get a lot of contact burns. And usually those are always like second-degree burns. Those are pretty serious burns for little kids.
If you're headed out on the water, either taking a dip in the pool or out on a boat, make sure you keep an eye on children and wear a life vest. For more tips on keeping your family safe this Memorial Day weekend, head over to our website, ciproud.com. We'll expect a lot of people to be traveling this Memorial Day weekend. AAA says it expects more than 39 million Americans to travel more than 50 miles for this unofficial start of summer. That's nearly 3% more than last year and the third straight year of increases. More than 88% of those travelers will drive to their destinations. AAA says the jump is due to increased confidence in the U.S. economy, which means people are spending more and using that money to travel. And coming up, a multi-million-dollar drug bust. Hear what police found during an investigation in northern Illinois. Plus, leaving a tip during a night out can be tricky, but later on in the show, we'll explain what percentage experts say you should shell out.
And severe storms move through central Illinois this afternoon. What started off as a pretty quiet morning turned into a pretty active afternoon. As strong to severe storms really roll through the area. This is a great looking time lapse as the storms approach the Pontiac area. Unfortunately, more storms are on the way for the holiday weekend. We're timing out those storms and we'll have more coming up next.
Ariana Grande says she will return to Manchester, England for a benefit concert following a terror attack at her show earlier this week. The singer says the event will honor and raise money for the victims and their families. She made the announcement on social media, adding she will have more details soon. Grande put her Dangerous Woman tour on hold after the attack that killed 22 people and injured more than 60 others. Well, 2 people are in custody after a multi-million-dollar drug and weapons bust in Illinois. Authorities from several agencies arrested Joseph Vogrink and David Soskin after a several months-long investigation. They say they found nearly $3 million worth of drugs and weapons inside their homes. Investigators say they found more than 10 pounds of high-grade marijuana in Vogrink's home and more than 350 pounds of marijuana in Soskin's home, along with several high-powered weapons, including a machine gun.
We are not going to allow county lines or anything else to divide our communities. What you see here is an excellent collaborations that are going on at all time between all law enforcement agencies, state's attorney's office, and any other agency that can bring down the drug businesses that are a scourge on our communities.
Vogrink is charged with possession with intent to deliver cannabis over 5,000 grams. He faces up to 30 years in prison if convicted. Soskin faces several charges, including drug trafficking and possession of marijuana. His bond is set at $100,000. Well, still ahead, how much money is a fair tip? Coming up, tips on how much you should tip for services like restaurants, bars, and Uber service. Just in from our WMBD newsroom, a $5 million bond is set for a Bloomington man accused of stabbing a woman to death in a motel. An autopsy revealed 27-year-old Peorian Shannon Hastings stabbed over 100 times with a pocket knife in her neck and body. Prosecutors say they found the knife in the dumpster, which tested positive for blood. They also say the blood pattern on Hastings' body was consistent with an attacker strangling her. Police say 32-year-old Kyle Breston is a drug user with a prior record of domestic battery and obstructing justice. Breston faces up to natural life in prison if convicted. Well, it's custom to leave a tip at a bar or restaurant, but for some other services, it's not always clear whether you should. Jennifer Merrily explains.
Everyone has their own idea of what to leave for a tip during a night out.
I usually do 20% kind of as standard everywhere.
Maybe more than 15 to 18%.
Etiquette expert Liz Taylor calls tipping a social contract. The going rate?
Standard rule of thumb, 20%.
The rest can be trickier to navigate. The standard at hair salons should be 15 to 20%. You should also give $5 for the valet, $1 to $2 per bag for a shuttle driver. Flower delivery, $5. Stick with 18 to 20% for food delivery. Tip a bartender $1 to $2 per drink and more when it's special.
If they're mixing 6 ingredients, you may want to give a couple dollars, at least 20%.
The same rule of thumb applies to a barista. But if it's straight coffee or someone taking your order behind a register and a tip line pops up with the electronic signature,
you're not obligated. If you feel like they went above and beyond, had the genuine smile and eye contact and made sure you were well taken care of, 10% to 20%, it's always a nice gesture.
And when it comes to Uber drivers, you're not obligated to tip. But Taylor says if you choose to, do it in cash. Jennifer Merrily for CBS News, Minneapolis.
Well, don't go anywhere. Chris has your final look at the forecasts next.
All right, here's a final check at our forecast. Temperatures down into the low 60s tonight to upper 50s. A mild night overall. And I think our storm chances are just about done for the evening. Partly cloudy skies. For tomorrow, warm and humid with a chance for some evening storms. Most of the day is going to go off without a hitch. Temperatures will be in the upper 70s to near 80. Beyond that, the evening storms tomorrow. Otherwise, the rest of the forecast is pretty darn good.
All right. Thanks, Chris. And thanks for joining us. We'll see you tonight at 6.